Cesaro versus the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns for the Universal Undisputed Championship, the main event of WrestleMania Backlash. Even though it could have just been called Backlash, and we could have just called it Vengeance, because that's what Backlash is usually the theme of, revenge. Anyways, I don't know what to call the added name to it. Anyways, WrestleMania Backlash featured the main event of Roman Reigns and Cesaro, and reportedly originally was supposed to be the triple threat WWE title match. Roman would have been pissed in terms of his character. I don't know. I don't think he cares in real life because, hey, I'm doing the work, I'm stealing the show and everything. And Cesaro gets to have his first major opportunity at a world title since 2014, yeah, which is telling of how much they don't. You could build a company around Cesaro. At this point, I don't know if it's too late at his age, but he can still go. And the build-up also added in the return of Roman Reigns' bro and Jimmy Uso and Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso's brother. After he had been gone for some time, last time we saw him, he was being strangled by Roman in the guillotine. So there's all that added element and how Jimmy doesn't want to be Roman Reigns' binge and everything. But it's just fun that now you got this family dynamic going on and Cesaro getting involved and Jimmy Uso looking like he's crossed between his loyalties between Bloodline and doing what he believes is right. Because if he sides against Roman, then he goes against his brother, and well, that's going to end in disaster because that's a status quo that he probably doesn't want to lose regarding their tag team. But yeah, so you got all these added elements, and you have Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship in the wake of his murdering of Daniel Bryan, much to Paul Heyman's chagrin, as he goes ahead and does the ding. Much to Roman's laughter, like he was like it was reported he was struggling with trying not to laugh because that was unscripted. That whole ding 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 mock was actually Paul Heyman taking liberties with his promos, showing that even though he's no longer talking for Roman, he's still doing his own thing. He could still contribute even though he's been afraid of Roman this entire time. So, yeah, the dynamic's fun. And now Cesaro must fight to avenge his fallen indie bro, Antonio Cesaro. Oh, God, it's been so long since we last heard that name, isn't it? And they had one match together. Unless you include tag teams, they don't count for me. But they only had one match that I recall, and it was a freaking classic, and it was so early in the tournament back in 2015. Before Cesaro got hurt, he had a huge match with Roman, and it was so awesome. It was for the WWE title tournament to advance to the tournament, and people said that really should have been the semifinal or final match because that was just how damn good it was. Even reportedly Vince regretted not putting Cesaro Roman Reigns in the semifinals or last. And that's takes something when Vince wants to admit he's wrong, because Vince doesn't like to say he's wrong. So now, after several years of waiting for this, we're getting a rematch. And finally, we're going to get a fight. And by God, did they deliver. This... And Roman doesn't have Jimmy or Jey Usos involved in this, because Jey Uso... loyalty was questioned, saying he's talking like his brother Jimmy, and says, so maybe you should go find your brother. The music hits, we get his final boss epic music, and Reigns heads out with just Heyman. Raising the title as pyro goes off, and Cesaro looks on from the ring. He made his entrance first because that's the standard tradition in wrestling these days. The contender goes out first, the champion comes out last, because save the best for last. And unless you're the Fiend or a special attraction like the Undertaker, and we get a brawling and Cesaro technical masterpiece here. We get a freaking great match here. It was everything I wanted in a main event caliber title match with Roman and Cesaro, especially Roman being the heel, the villainous character now. He's been on fire since his heel run started, and this will probably be the best work he's done. I don't, I can't make it work. I don't know if they can make it work with him being a face. I'm like, Roman has said in an interview he does not want to work without Paul Heyman involved. So, yeah, he clearly sees himself being the client of the of the great special counsel. So, yeah, and considering how much awesome content we've been getting, I'm still advocating that Roman beats Okada's reign in have be the answer to New Japan's Okada length reign in WWE. It'd be just that damn good for the Universal Championship. It really would need it. Hell, this is the best the title has looked, even though it's blue and it's just the WWE title, but blue. They really need a better design for them. Anyways, so we got this match. It's going so well. We got some mat wrestling. We got some strength to strength, and they're pretty very equal on this. And there's parts in this match where I thought Cesaro would have this shot won, though my confidence was still on Roman winning because, well, he's the head of the table, and also because he's protected until SummerSlam or WrestleMania. That or injuries occur, which I hope doesn't happen because that would just derail all the hard work we were doing with this and really be damaging to his morale. Especially for me, since I would not be watching WWE because that's the only thing at this point. I'm only watching the Roman stuff. Bray Wyatt's off doing stuff, is off recovering from his mental health because the passing of Brody Lee still affects him, which makes it depressing, more so. So Roman and Cesaro fight. They're doing great. They're selling her arm for Cesaro. Roman's taking shots to it, getting an advantage over it, like Jay White did to Hiroshi Tanahashi in their super long, could have been 30 or 25-minute matchup. Yeah. And Roman tries to go for the guillotine chokehold, but Cesaro gets out of it. And Cesaro then does a sharpshooter and transitions into a crossface submission. Starts to powering out. Roman starts to power out. He mounts Cesaro and unloads the strikes as the virtual fan base boos because they're not allowed to cheer because they have to follow the protocol or be kicked out of the Thunderdome. Yeah, that's an actual thing. I don't know why. Just let us cheer who we like. I'm pretty sure fans would be cheering Roman more so than ever. I mean, like, they did at WrestleMania because he was just that good of a heel, and also because they were kind of. I would be surprised. Now I could be wrong. This could be like imprint, so to speak, of indoctrination by Vince. He's like, there, finally, after a year of Thunderdome indoctrination, we've gotten them to sell the story the way I want it. Damn it. I wouldn't be surprised if Vince thinks that. Let's just go with that conspiracy for now. Cesaro, and then Roman Reigns tries to take it down and gets him into a guillotine submission, but Cesaro tries to power out, but Roman is still locking it in. Cesaro looks like he's gonna get out of it, tries to rip the arm up, but Roman has tried to wraps his legs tighter, and Cesaro starts to fade it in the hole, and the ref calls the match. And notice there is no Jimmy or Jay. There's no shenanigans from Heyman. Nope. Paul Heyman doesn't do anything. Roman Reigns defeats Cesaro clean in the ring. And there are no Usos to help. Then Jey Uso, after Roman's victory and clean title defense, he goes ahead and bestows the Hawaiian Samoan tradition of declaring him king, essentially. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name, but I don't remember what the flowers thing are. But then Roman looks at Cesaro, and Jay picks up the scraps. He beats him down, gets ready for another frog splash, and then we see the Messiah of Friday Night SmackDown. Seth Rollins arrive onto the scene. We assume maybe he's turning face. They have an interaction, and we need to milk as much now with the Shield dead now because Roman Reigns was the last bastion of it, and then he killed it with his theme song change. And John Moxley's in AEW, so unless Moxley wants to go back to WWE and deal with what the fallout could be from there if he goes back, more power to him. But yeah, Cesaro is still down. Seth Rollins comes in, looks, and then just laughs at Roman, and then he goes to finish Cesaro off himself and proceeds to dissect his arm with the table, and then tries to kill him, and then severs his arm essentially with a steel chair. As Seth Rollins cackles like a hyena off the show as Roman and his team leave. So yeah, that's the end. So the heels win. Seth Rollins is once again looking like he's going to continue his feud with Cesaro. Cesaro is like, well, I'm going back to Seth Rollins. I mean, like, it could be a downgrade if you consider Rollins still a bootlicker. I mean, like, if he still thinks that. But anyways. But yeah, this was freaking awesome. I love that it was a clean finish. It further establishes Roman's dominance as a performer and showing he's that good. This is the best work he's been doing since his return after he stood up for himself against the tyrant of Vince and did what he believed was best for his family. Now I'm curious to know what's it going to be like when they return in July, because WWE wants to go back on touring. Originally it was supposed to be set for August, but then AEW happened, and now there's a possibility WWE was like, no, we must be there first. To war! And whatnot, because clearly that's not saying anything about having AEW in their heads, is it? I'm like, we could. I'm like, I can say that. I'm like, I have no evidence other than convenient timing. But, yeah. So, yeah, Roman Reigns' his next challenger. Who could it be? Now, we could go with the Jimmy Uso route, since for some uncharacteristic reason, they're having Hell in a Cell for the next pay-per-view, instead of it being a fall pay-per-view event, because, I don't know, because Bad Blood was a name we can't use, even though we have featured a ton of violence. Anyways, so I'm curious to know who they'll have next. I'm still hoping it's Shinsuke Nakamura, because let's be real, we're running very low on talent that could fight Roman. Daniel Bryan being gone certainly didn't help, but yeah, but we'll have to see where Bryan goes from there on that. It is curious where they could take this, because, like I said, I'm still thinking he's going to drop it at next WrestleMania or have it. And that was weird. And let's see, the male wrestlers. We got Chad Gable, Aleister Black, Angelo Dawkins, Apollo Crews, Big E, Chad Gable, Dolph Ziggler, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Owens, Corbin, Montez Ford, Murphy, Otis, Rey Mysterio, Robert Roode, Sami Zayn, who might be having an issue, Slapjack, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So, yeah, and then you could also do an NXT call-up if you want. But, you know, they could, like, I know, like, we got, it should have been me with Ziggler, but, he could be a face, like, he's done that before. We can also do we could also not do Aleister Black, that would be too soon. We could turn Chad Gable face again. Oh, and there's also going to be the draft coming up, so that might switch things up. So we could have, we could get Roman Reigns versus Jeff Hardy. That would be an awesome match, probably, if they have the dedication to do it. They could turn Mustafa Ali face again. I think he would have worked better as a face, because what exactly was he doing? What his motives were for SmackDown, for being Retribution wrong about, really? See that? Yeah, there's a lot of people on Raw they could use, and there are some wrestlers on SmackDown, and Seth Rollins could turn face down the road to fight Roman, or Roman could make him turn face, and plus, like I said, there's a ton of NXT talent they can bring up. to build up to fight Roman and whatnot to, you know, keep the reign going. But that's just my opinion, and we'll have to see where they take this. I am looking forward to this reign of dominance. So we'll have to see. Anyways, this was Neo Reality Entertainment, the WrestleVerse, presenting Roman Reigns versus Cesaro at WrestleMania Backlash of 2021. For free like, comment, subscribe, check out my content in the description below. Stay tuned for more. I'll see y'all next time. Peace and take care.